Retro Now.
Hey, this is Lauren Mary Kim, and I'm the stunt double for Ahsoka Tano in Clone Wars and the armorer in The Mandalorian. You're listening to Dennis and Jay on Podcast Stardust. This is the way.
Bright sun, Star Wars fans. I'm Jay Krebs.
And I'm Dennis Keithley.
And this is another fully armed and operational edition of Podcast Stardust, the galaxy's source for Star Wars news, reviews, and discussion. But before we get started, Dennis, where can our listeners find us on social media?
We are on Facebook and Instagram at Podcast Stardust.
All right. Welcome to episode 913 of Podcast Stardust. Today, we are bringing you a special monthly feature called World Between Worlds, a mystical dimension that connects Star Wars fashion and lifestyle products to your space and time. The goal is to bring you a wide variety of ideas for products to surround you, outfit you, and bind your style sense together, kind of like the Force. So it may be summer, but it's also San Diego Comic-Con season. Well, that means another year of the Her Universe fashion show on deck, as well as lots of new merch reveals and anticipated products coming to our galaxy. So we're going to be jumping into a lot of that, as well as some updates and some new destinations, things for Star Wars as well. But before we jump into this month's latest and greatest Star Wars merch, Dennis and I always recap any new Star Wars products we've acquired or any updates on current items we own. So, Dennis, have you added anything to your Star Wars fashion or lifestyle collection since last month?
Well, I didn't actually add anything. I just forgot to talk about something from last month. And
There was a lot that you talked about.
Yeah, well, between my birthday and Father's Day and
Right.
how much my wife spoils me, then, there's just some things slip through the cracks. And unfortunately, this time it was a collection of T-shirts that she got for me from Heroes and Villains. And these are in the style of the Japanese anime type thing. One features the Ronin from Star Wars Visions. Another has got R2-D2 and 3PO. And then the third has got Darth Vader and a couple stormtroopers. But at any rate, they're all in that ancient Japanese style with the Japanese lettering and some Arabesh on there. I would love to be able to put a link into the show notes for these and tell you more about what they are and where you can find them and how much you can expect to spend on them, except for it doesn't look like Heroes and Villains is carrying them right now on this. So I don't know if it was a limited time tie-in with Star Wars Celebration Japan, but at any rate, I love these. They are fantastic. I'm a big fan of the Ronin character. I have another Ronin shirt that my wife got me a couple of years ago that I wear frequently, and so this is an updated version of that. Again, it's that similar style where you got the cherry blossom type images in the background, except for the Darth Vader one, which looks like he's a dark samurai, and then the stormtroopers that are on the side are that similar look. But these are fun. I really enjoy it. It's something different than the everyday stormtroopers and Darth Vader type imagery that we always get. And it was a fun get and just a nice little closet refresh.
These are great. Yes. And the two that you have that are on that kind of cream colored fabric, you don't see that very often. Everybody's got their fill of black t-shirts, which the Black Vader one is great, but those are very unique. And I suspect that you probably will have people making comments in public on those because they are so unique and so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, the one time the opportunity, since I work from home so much that I haven't gotten out with these as much as I want, but I've been having fun with them. They are, like I said, they're fun to have. It's been giving me the liberty of disposing of some older T-shirts that are not as in great a condition as I would like anymore, and having these here, and it's just a little different. It's nice to have a different style every once in a while.
Absolutely. Yeah, I need to take so many of my t-shirts, and I've been saying that I'm going to make a blanket out of them because there's just so many. I mean, you're like me and you accumulate over the years because we're not like kids. We're not going to grow out of them. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, and I always say the last thing I need is another t-shirt, like a hole in the head. But I mean, it's nice to have a refresh, and these are awesome.
Yeah, definitely so. But how about you? Got anything new?
Well, ironically, I was just out shopping yesterday for some bargains around the area. And do you have Ollie's bargain outlets around you guys there in Texas? Have you
That
ever
is a
heard of
concept that
Ollie?
is foreign to me, so
Okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah, well, Ollie himself, the representation that they have of Ollie is very Albert Einstein looking, which is kind of crazy. But at any rate, they have they say it's good stuff cheap. So they have a lot of buyouts and overstocks and that type of thing. So every once in a while I'll pop in there and see what they have. And I go in there a lot for those coffee syrups, like the caramel coffee syrups and the hazelnut ones and whatnot. But I just happened to be looking around at the books yesterday, and they had a whole section of nothing but Star Wars activity books, puzzle books, young readers, speak aloud books, those ones that are you push the buttons and then they make sounds. So my kids used to have some for, like farm animals and stuff like that. Well, they had Mandalorian ones and Grogu, making noises and ships and the whole nine yards. And so I was like, oh, I just want to kind of take a look through these. I had a little time. So I thought I'm going to peruse through some of these. And I actually ended up getting myself a sticker book, and, the kid in me here, but it's the Star Wars Rebels Ultimate Sticker Collection. And I only paid $2.99 for it. And I looked it up on Amazon. And right now on Amazon, it's actually going for like $19, almost
Hmm.
$20. And so, what I love about this, I just love stickers because I love to be able to put them on things like my shaker mugs, tumblers, my sewing machine. I just love putting stickers everywhere. So there's over 1,000 full color stickers in this book. And it starts off with 32 pages of fun Star Wars Rebels facts. It's kind of like a visual guide, the different visual guides that we have for, everything essentially. And so the idea is that you take your stickers and then you go back to those pages and then you can put them over top of the little silhouettes, and then you can create your own fun little illustrations that way. Well, I just got it basically for the stickers because I thought, oh my gosh, for $3, all of these stickers, this is amazing. But what I was really impressed about too is that there were some pages in there that were not exactly some of the most common, I guess you could say, characters. There was a whole page on Grint and Oresco from Rebels, and these were two of the Imperial officers. And so they
Hmm.
even had stickers for them in there too. But there was a whole page on Callus, there was a whole page on Zeb, which was fun. So I thought that was a pretty good get. And then I was also impressed because they had other types of Star Wars titles, such as the Be More box set. And I don't know if you've heard of these, but these are fun, like little tongue-in-cheek advice kind of books from some of the characters in Star Wars. So there was a box set, and the four characters were Vader, Leia, Lando, of all people, and and Yoda. So a very eclectic little array of characters that could give you some advice. I would love to know what Lando would say, but all of them contained light-hearted quotes and, full color movie stills and, that type of thing. So what's fun is on the description on Amazon, and you can pick up the whole box set on Amazon for $26. It says that let Darth Vader teach you how to deal with pressure. Discover Leia's thoughts about trusting your instincts and hear what Yoda has to say about the power of play. But nothing was mentioned about Lando. So
Hmm.
I'm very, very intrigued about that one. And so I just thought, wow, this is a great way to do some gift giving or a cheap way to even have a coffee table book, you can put into your rotation. So if anybody has an Ollie's around them, I definitely suggest that you check that out. And then my other pick that they had that I thought was so cool, but I didn't end up getting it, is this sticker art puzzle book. So this, think, you know what diamond dots are? Have you ever heard of
Yeah.
diamond dots? Okay. So it's like diamond dots meets paint by numbers. So it's all of these pages and pages of tessellated puzzles. And I'll admit I had to look up what tessellated means. And it's an artistic arrangement that uses tiling where geometric shapes are used to create a pattern, but without overlapping the stickers. So the puzzle pieces themselves almost remind me of like glass shards, I guess you could say. And so you have to take all of these 100 pieces each and create this mosaic picture of these characters or ships or whatever on each one of the page. And the stickers are also numbered. So it includes things like fun trivia about the character. For example, it even has things about Darth Vader. It gives like little character background and it says you don't know the power of the dark side. And then it has the voice, so some, trivia and information about the voice, the look, and even the sound, which I thought was really cool. And then if you need help, there's a solution reference page in the back of the book in case you get stuck. So it'll say on each one of the pages, solution found on page such and such. So if you're like, oh gosh, where does piece 38 go? I'm having trouble figuring it out. And I thought, wow, this is such a great idea to keep kids or even adults busy in the AC when it's too hot outside this time of year, or keep around for snow days, rainy days, or just fun days. And I thought, gosh, I can see myself like in my older age. I'm already feeling old, but doing this to keep my mind and my hand-eye coordination sharp, like putting together sticker puzzles of Darth Vader. What could be more fun than that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, the sticker books are fun. And this just reminds me of like books I get from my kids when they were much younger and finding the stickers all over the place
Yeah.
afterwards when they'd play with it. But yeah, nice find.
Thank you. Yeah, and I used to always be the kind of kid that I never put stickers on things because I didn't want to waste the sticker. So I actually have in my basement, I just ran across these not too long ago. I had scrapbooks where I would put unused stickers like in the scrapbooks. And I would cut out the paper around them and everything. And I just had collections of stickers. But now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put them on things. So that's why I was saying I'm putting them on my tumblers and mugs, and my sewing machine is all filled with it. I did just get a new laptop, and I haven't put any stickers on that yet. I haven't gotten that far, but I'm sure that'll end up
Yeah.
happening as well.
Yeah. Well, I applaud that. I mean, it's like I don't put stickers on my laptop because it has to be professionally presentable. But
Sure.
I do put them on, various other things. And I'm with you. It's like you can collect all this stuff and that's great. But if you're not going to regularly peruse through it, what's the point of
Mhm.
preserving it here? These sticker books are unlikely to maintain any serious value as a collector's item going forward into the future. So enjoy it now. And I
Right.
mean, heck, if it's something that is just important to you to have everything that's ever in print, then that's fine too. I get that. But make the most of these stickers and enjoy them while you can. Yeah, it'd be a bummer if you had one that you really, really loved and all of a sudden it got enjoyed the next time, or it got damaged the next time you washed whatever it was. But it's not like they're not going to make more Star Wars stickers. I mean, there's plenty of
Exactly.
opportunity, and you get that type of volume for that cost. Seems very much worth it.
Mhm. Well said. And I agree. And that's where I am right now is I just plaster them everywhere because that's where I enjoy them. So yeah.
Mm.
Ta-da! So switching some major gears here, let's talk about San Diego Comic-Con. So because every year I go over the Her Universe fashion show. This year is no different, and I'm super excited to talk about this. So the fashion show itself originated 11 years ago, and of course, Her Universe founder Ashley Eckstein is the brainchild of this. And so this year, it is deemed to be the biggest show yet. And it will actually take place Thursday, July 24th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And if you're lucky enough to be at San Diego Comic-Con, you can catch it in the Seaport Ballroom foyer of the Manchester Grand Hyatt. And so there's no wristband or anything like that required for this, no special badge or additional fee or anything like that. And you can start actually queuing up at 10 o'clock in the morning, which I thought was interesting because you know how we have always talked about how, especially at Star Wars Celebration, they have done away with stuff like that and waiting in lines and things. So I thought that was kind of interesting that you can start, waiting at 10 a.m. for this thing, and you're basically waiting all day to get in, and it's first come, first serve. So I was like, that's kind of interesting. But at any rate, I digress. This year's event will embrace a theme of, it's called Defying Fashion, fashion that defies expectations. And this one is inspired by the Wicked films, which I have not seen. Have you seen any of the new Wicked?
No, my wife watched the first one without me, and that's fine. I've heard and enjoy a lot of the songs from Wicked in various playlists that I listen to on Spotify, but I haven't seen the play. I haven't not seen the movie. Without having seen the first one, I'm unlikely to see the second one in theaters, but it is something I'd like to see someday.
Yeah, and I know Colby one, he saw Wicked and at Broadway. So he
Mm.
got to see the original, production on Broadway, which is super cool. But so yeah, every year her universe embraces a different theme. And so that just happens to be this year's. And we have 24 contestants this year. Some are first year, others are returning. One contestant is actually returning for the fourth time. And there were 25 selected finalists, but only 24 were listed on the website. So I'm assuming that either one dropped out, or I don't know why the 25th one wasn't included, but all of these will debut designs inspired by popular Universal Pictures franchises.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I know that. I thought that was interesting as well. So, on the runway, fans can view looks inspired by fandoms like, of course, Wicked, Jurassic World, How to Train Your Dragon, which instantly thought of you, Trolls, and Universal Monsters. And that came from Pop Insider as the source on that. So, probably not going to see Star Wars inspired designs this year, which is very interesting. And so it's going to be a different kind of a view, but the winner will receive a $2,000 cash prize and an offer to co-design a fashion collection with her universe. And there's no hints as to what Ashley will be wearing at this year's event, but if anyone out there has followed the Her Universe fashion show in previous years, Ashley always has some amazing dresses. Of course, the one that always comes to mind first for me is the Ahsoka Lego dress that she wore at one of the
Yeah,
very first ones.
I'm glad you brought that up. I have lots of comments to make about this story. First of
Cool.
which is that this week's Lego Masters episode, the contestants were challenged to create a mask for a masquerade
Oh,
out of Legos. And so they had to come up with something that they could wear, they could move around, that wasn't going to fall apart. One of the and the contestants are like teams of two people on all this, and so that was pretty fascinating. And when you mentioned this show, I was actually thinking about Ashley's Lego dress that she wore several years ago, and that was pretty cool. Of the list of movies that you mentioned there that are inspiring fashions are going to be there: Wicked, Jurassic World, and How to Train Your Dragon, Trolls, Universal Monsters. I've seen How to Train Your Dragon, the live action remake. That was really great. I think it's my favorite movie of the year so far. And this past weekend, I saw Jurassic World Rebirth, which was encouraging. I haven't been as big a fan of the Jurassic World movies since they took over for the Jurassic Park franchise, but this was the best of the batch, starring Scarlett Johansson. Um, uh, and so I encourage everyone to go out and check it out. We're talking about a lot of non-Star Wars here, but that's fine.
I know.
At any rate, I just really enjoyed that. I thought it was fun. The other thing that came to mind here is that I'm really curious to see with the How to Train Your Dragon fashion, which way they go. Because what I've noticed from images of Universal's new theme park, Epic Universe, that's in Orlando, they're basing a lot of the looks off of the animation. So you've got these this is not a good description, but it's the only one that comes to mind. It's actually pretty poor, but these comically like oversized boots that are perfect for like an animated
Ah,
character that you would have seen in the animated show, but it's not the same style that you would see in the live action remake, which is a little bit closer to what reality, again, a movie featuring dragons,
sure.
would have been. And so I'm curious about that. If I saw nothing else from this fashion show, I'd really be curious to see what the How to Train Your Dragon fashion turns out to be.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I'll tell you, every one of the designers every year, the interpretations that they come up with to represent these are always so incredibly creative. Of course, I mean, that's why they made it to the big stage here. But yeah, I'm with you. And it should be usually it's broadcast on YouTube a couple of days after the event. There was a couple of years there where they actually did it like at the same time. They did it live basically, and it was just maybe I don't even know, like an hour difference between the start time and what the YouTube was. So there was kind of a delay, but it was pretty soon after the fact. So I haven't seen anything as far as how it or when it's going to be broadcast. But like I said, it's been done on YouTube in the past. So definitely want to check that out for sure. If nothing else, I'm sure that on the San Diego Comic-Con blog, there will be some news on that, pictures. There will be YouTube videos. I'm sure that your Universe website will have all of the results and things from there. So yeah, all the festivities, it'll be great. But there are some Star Wars cosplayers that were I went through all 24 of the contestants that were listed for the fashion show. And so I did all the work for everyone so that I could key in on those that have done Star Wars cosplays before. So obviously, not that they're going to have Star Wars fashion designs at the Her Universe show, but based on the themes, that we just talked about. But I just want to give a shout out to a few. There were three specifically, and one is Catherine Stocking Lopez, who goes by at Catherine underscore everything on Instagram. And she has cosplayed a Twi'lek, looks like an original concept kind of Twi'lek, original character. Kay Vest from Outlaws and Bastilla Shan from Knights of the Old Republic. And then there's simply Margaret, who is at Magical Creation. So I'm assuming like Madge Margaret, MADGICAL.creations. And Margaret has cosplayed as an original concept Mandalorian, which of course is very near and dear to my heart. But she does more of like a tiki Mandalorian. So it's more of an island Mandalorian, which I think is very cool. She's also done Padme and a Jawa. And then we have Meg Butler Waddington, who goes by at Costumes by Meg on Instagram. And not so much cosplay, but original, beautiful sketches of a lot of original concept designs. So things that she's brought to life interpreting characters like Princess Leia, Padme, and Darth Vader. There's a really gorgeous Darth Vader dress that
That's the one I
that Meg,
noticed. Yeah.
yeah, on there. And then there's a beautiful Leia one as well. But Leia always has beautiful dresses. You don't always see Darth Vader interpreted dresses for women, which I totally appreciated. So I thought that one was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's some good work. I've opened all their Instagram pages while you're talking, and I like Magical's creations dress interpreting Wolverine or the X-Men suit. I'm not sure which one exactly. Oh, it looks like Wolverine based on the claws on the glove. But that was really cool. And then looking at Catherine Everything's page, she's got an incredible photographer that took some work. Her KVS is really good. And then, and like we were just talking about, costumed by Meg, that Darth Vader dress, that it's not a full length, that knee length dress there, shoulderless, that she still managed to come up with the straps that look like that armor that's around Vader's shoulders and neck. Really,
Yeah.
really clever, really creative.
Yes, yes, so much talent out there, and I'm always so inspired by all of these cosplayers. And that's one of the things that I always tell people who are just getting started with cosplay or who, want to be inspired creatively is, just go follow these people and then see who they follow as well
Hmm.
and see who inspired them and don't be afraid to reach out. Yeah. And also with that too, one other thing, Catherine Everything, if anyone's a big Baldur's Gate fan, she's got a ton of Baldur's Gate 3, especially stuff in her cosplay repertoire. So very talented people out there for sure. So again, that is San Diego Comic-Con, July 24th. So we'll be looking forward to seeing what comes out of that. And then one other big spotlight that I want to talk about for San Diego Comic-Con is Rock Love Jewelry, who we've definitely talked about a few times on the show. And I have a couple pieces from Allison Semino, who is the founder of Rock Love. She will have a very special Galactic Forge interactive jewelry design event at San Diego Comic-Con this year. So you can actually go to her booth and you can do some personalized Orabesh sayings, monograms, bracelets, different types of pendants where you can choose different quotes that you can do in Orabesh and so on and so forth. And I just thought that was super cool. So what a great way to get people to interact. And so all of that is going to be engraved live and on site. And so, of course, there's a little bit of an upcharge for that. But all of the complimentary the engraving that you'll get includes a video clip of the process. So it is very unique and exclusive. And you definitely want to check that out if you're going to be there. So the engravable bracelet, depending upon what you get, if you get sterling silver, it's $340. The silver plated brass is $150. And then there's also the necklaces, sterling silver $295, and the silver plated brass is $125. But these are gorgeous, simply gorgeous. So you have to check these out. The bracelets themselves remind me of the old fashioned ID bracelets from I want to say like the 80s. They
Hmm.
were really popular then, and it has the big links. But those are a lot of fun. And then you can also get these things that she calls crystal enhancers to go on them as well. So there's 6 different crystal enhancers that have different rhinestones on them. So there's one, it says Sith Eternal with a red crystal, Rebel Alliance with an orange, Warriors of Mandalore that has the Mythosaur skull on one side and then sort of an amber jewel in there, or crystal, Jedi Order with blue, Galactic Empire with more of a like an obsidian almost, more not quite diamond, but not quite gray. And then Clan of Two, which is green, of course, with the mud horn. So there's a lot of fun things there. And then the fun thing, though, is she is going to be offering these online as well, beginning July 24th. So if you aren't able to be there in person, you can also check everything out online. And if you're having some major FOMO, fear of missing out, you can also build your own lightsaber necklace on the Rock Love Jewelry website now. I'm going to tell you, Dennis, I spent a lot of time on the website
I'm
messing
shocked.
around with this. It's kind of like Savi's workshop in a jewelry making kind of way. So what's fun is that Allison actually has a couple of different videos on the website explaining this, but she has an entire lightsaber workshop collection, and it includes 4 distinct components, including an emitter, a sleeve, a switch, and an end cap. And these are sold as unassembled sets for you to construct. So they're like little puzzle necklaces. And each one of them has an element of threading to make sure that your assembly is secured. And so
Mhm.
there's a whole thing on the website that you can watch that explains all of it. And I was intrigued, but each one of the lightsabers is actually based on its own hilt theme. So again, very similar to Savi's workshop at Galaxy's Edge. So you have 4 different themes. There's the duty and resolve, which is basically called the traditionalist, power and control, which is called the maverick, peace and justice, leader, and elemental nature, which is nurturer. And if you are not sure which one you think that you should choose, there's actually an assessment on the website to help you. So I did it, but you have to put in your email to see your results, but it actually comes up right away. And if you put in your email, you also get a code to your email for a little discount, but I'm already subscribed to her newsletters and things. So I found it in the promotions, but they do give it to you. So my result was duty and resolve is the one that I got. And it says your answers reflect a preference for relying on logic and proven methods, demonstrating your focus on maintaining stability and adhering to established protocols. You are known for practicality, reliability, and dedication to upholding rules and traditions. Kind of sounds like me, I guess. Another one, peace and justice, is with boundless empathy and visionary leadership. This individual illuminates paths of growth and harmony, guiding others toward their fullest potential with compassionate understanding and unwavering determination. So, again, depending on which path you choose, those are a lot of fun. But if you're like, yeah, I don't know if I really want to go that route, you can also choose classic character lightsabers as well. So you can get Darth Vader's, Princess Leia, Ahsoka Tano, the white saber hilt. I want to just mention that, and or Luke Skywalker's. So again, you've got lots and lots of choices. Some of them are only in a limited supply, numbering up to 150, and that's it because they're all handcrafted. But they are made of durable nickel-free artisan brass, and you can get a couple different finishes depending upon which path you choose. So they're available in white and black rhodium, 14 karat yellow gold or rose gold accents. And there's also some hand painted enamel details on the buttons and switches. Each set costs $150, and they do set horizontally on the necklace with these D rings. So once you assemble it, you can put it onto your chain. It does launch July 25th online and at San Diego Comic-Con. So you can set your alarm and, if you're really wanting to get one of these and hop on there. But I just think that it's a super cool idea for a gift or, to splurge on for yourself. And then Allison also said that there will be Power Core expansion packs that will be available at a later date. So, wow, I just have to hand it to Allison. She's always coming up with some really creative ways to utilize jewelry to express fandom. And this one is just knocks it out of the park for me. I'm so intrigued by this. And I just think it's such a fun idea.
Mhm.
What do you think?
Oh yeah, no, I think it's fantastic. It's a neat idea. I mean, my wife has a Rock Love necklace. They've been fun to see at celebrations. This is taking it to another level, and that's really pretty cool. Way to evolve their product.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, rocklove.com, you can go straight to the website and check out all the other things that she has to offer as well. I have the Ahsoka Tano Kyber crystal necklace, and then I also have the Darth Vader Luke Skywalker like battle necklace where the two lightsabers are crossing. So those are the two pieces that I have. But I've always had my eye on things like the AT-AT articulated charm, and there's a chopper articulated charm as well. There's so many great details in all of her pieces of work. There's rings. So yeah, I got to check that out at Rock Love and check out those links in our show notes. So a couple other San Diego Comic-Con highlights here. So never too early to start talking about Christmas, right? Because you can call it Christmas in July. So Hallmark will actually be debuting their 2025 keepsake ornament line at San Diego Comic-Con. And there's one specifically that I was super excited to see, and that is Darth Nihilus. And as you know, also, Dennis, my son Colby One cosplays Darth Nihilus. And so I thought, oh my gosh, this is a really interesting choice for a keepsake ornament, going back to Legends / Expanded Universe and Knights of the Old Republic. But I love the description on the website. It says, add part of the Sith triumvirate to your holiday decor with this Christmas tree ornament featuring the powerful, force-consuming Lord of Hunger in his iconic tattered robes. And this is an event-exclusive ornament, one of only 4,000 issues. So I'm assuming, as in the past, if they don't sell all 4,000 at San Diego Comic-Con, which I doubt that they will, it will also be available in stores. So let's hope so. But they also have a vintage Jawa as well on the card back, which is really fun. So you're basically your old-fashioned 1977 original Kenner Jawa. And so that one's kind of a fun one. And so these will be at booths 2913S and 3348. So we've got those going for us. And then there's also a bunch of other things that you can view San Diego Comic-Con merch highlights on the Star Wars website itself. And so if you go to starwars.com, they are highlighting a bunch of different things. And speaking of Ashley Eckstein, as I was going through those, there were some t-shirts from her universe that were on there, and these are actually re-releases. So there's a Mara Jade, a Jaina Solo, and then there's an Ahsoka one, and the Ahsoka is called Ahsoka's Choice t-shirt. And I looked at the website because I'm like, oh, these have got to be available on the website because these have been around for a while. They're not, which I was kind of surprised at. So I'm wondering if her universe pulled it from the website so that they could sell them as a quote unquote, Comic-Con exclusive. But I put a picture of myself in our show notes with the same shirt on, and that picture's from 2016. So we're talking like, almost 10 years ago that that I've seen and purchased this t-shirt. So I thought that was a very interesting choice on her universe's part. But at any rate, so other things that are going to be available just really quickly. Acme Archives Limited has a Bush character key available. There's also from Diamond Select Toys an R2B1 bank. There's bunches of t-shirts, as you can guess. Boba Fett Deluxe Mini Bust from Gentle Giant. The Hasbro booth always has, tons of things. There's also going to be an Angry Bird Star Wars special action figure set available if you are into that kind of thing, as well as some other exclusives as well. So again, check out all of the deets on the starwars.com website. And I'm also excited to see what else comes out of Comic-Con as far as hopefully some news for Star Wars. But we were just talking about this, that usually Comic-Con isn't Star Wars heavy when it comes to the news that's released there. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah, I kind of get the feeling that if there was going to be some sort of major announcement, especially with regards to the Mandalorian Grogu, we would have heard that was what's going to happen by now. So
Right.
It's possible they're going to surprise us, but if there's anything that we're going to find out from San Diego Comic-Con, I'm guessing it's going to be about books and comics. So yeah. Especially now that the High Republic is wound down.
Yeah, it's so crazy to think that we're at the end of the High Republic. Seems like we were just talking about it starting and wanting to start not too long ago. All right. Well, the last thing that we have is a couple of destinations updates. So I had spoke about the Unofficial Galaxies exhibit that is at the Center of Science and Industry in Columbus, Ohio. So I actually did get a chance to visit COSI recently, and this is advertised as one of the biggest fan collections in the world. So most of the things that I experienced were recreations and what they called artist interpretations, and a lot of cosplays fell into that category. But there were a few original artifacts. One of them included Anakin's desk from The Phantom Menace, and I tried to find a picture online so that I could show like a side-by-side comparison in our notes as to where this appears in the movie. And I didn't get a chance to go frame by frame in the movie, but it's probably something that you blink and you miss it kind of thing in his room, is what I'm assuming.
Yeah, I don't recognize this at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah. But then there was also David Prowse's script from A New Hope that was autographed. So that was really awesome. A set used control panel from the Death Star in A New Hope. And this was really intricate, very cool. But some other cool stuff that I was able to see was that there was a hand cast of Peter Mayhew's hand, who, of course, Peter Mayhew portrayed Chewbacca. And let me just tell you, you felt like teeny tiny dwarf. I mean, I have small hands anyways, but my hand compared to Peter Mayhew's was definitely dwarfed by that. They also had a speeder bike that you could get on, Endor inspired with some moving scenery. So that was very interactive and fun. And a fun photo op in the trash compactor. So you got to, there was a lot of foam pieces and there was even a Dianoga in there. And of course, you could buy it, kind of like those, pictures that you get at amusement parks when you're on roller coasters kind of thing. But it was cool because they did take 3 different pictures and then you could pick one if you wanted to. And then on the way out, they had a little refreshment area where you could get some things. And I ended up getting this little blue milk slushie that tasted like Fruit Loops. And then while you were sipping on your slushie, you could check out some production scripts and storyboards for the original trilogy. So those were some original things as well. And I didn't partake in this, but they did have some fun themed cocktails. And they even partnered with a local brewery to create a specialty lager. So I was talking to the gal behind the bar, and she said that it was one that the brewery kind of already made, they already had on tap, but they created a new label for the event. So the name of the brewery is Land Grant, and they created what they called the Light Speed Lager. And it also has the COSI logo and everything on it. So that was fun. And then a couple other things, they had some full-size scale replicas of X-Wing and Vader's TIE Fighter. And then one of my favorite things was that they had a moving model of Professor Huang. So he moved his head, his eyes blinked, and it was a little unsettling at first because it was like, oh wait, he just moved. Oh my gosh. And then there was a lot of retro memorabilia and toys that were also on display. So my overall review is that it's great for families and definitely those wanting an immersive in-person look at some prop and costume recreations and other memorabilia. If you've been to Celebration and you've been to a lot of the other types of things like Galaxy's Edge, it's not as, it's exactly what it says. It's a fan collection. So,
Sure.
but it's definitely fun nonetheless. And if you're interested in going, it is open now through September 1st. Tickets are $15 for the exhibit. You also have to pay to get into COSI itself, and it is $30 for adults, and ages 2 to 12 is $25. But COSI is amazing. So it's really a huge playground area. There's all kinds of different types of theme rooms. There was a dinosaur theme room, a under the sea. There's a planetarium. There's just so much to see and do, and it's very interactive. And if you happen to be a teacher, you get in free to COSI, and you still have to pay the $15 for the exhibit, but you must show a school ID to verify your admission. So that's a
Yeah.
lot of fun. Have you ever been to Ohio to go to COSI? I mean, I know you've been to Ohio, but have you ever been to COSI?
No, I've not. The speeder bike and the exhibit with the trash compactor reminded me of similar things that they used to have at Disney Hollywood Studios for Star Wars weekends. I've got a picture of my boys sitting on a speeder bike, very similar to the one that you put, the picture that you put in our notes of you riding that. And then the trash compactor, I remember seeing most recently at Galactic Nights at Hollywood Studios in 2017 during Star Wars Celebration in Orlando, the last
Yeah.
celebration in Orlando. So those are pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I like this. It's very much a kind of a Rancho Obi-Wan Light type of exhibit that based on the
Yeah.
pictures that you're showing there.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And and I also wondered, there was like the Rebel bunker was
Mhm.
there too. And so I wonder if some of these actually were at Celebration. They were just people that maybe had the sets and then put them on loan. And I thought to myself, I wonder if maybe next time around they'd let me display some of my cosplay as an artist representation. But I guess that's something that maybe I'll find out. But I'd love to be able to do a cosplay photo shoot in there
Oh
after
yeah.
hours. That would be fun. And actually, the night that we are recording this, they have a themed bash going on that you can dress up and go to, and it's an after hours event at COSI. So that was something fun that if anyone was interested in doing that they could actually add on to that event. So that's really cool. So our last little destination idea is thanks to you, Dennis, because you had sent me this post on Instagram. And at first I just thought it was like, oh, if you could have a Star Wars bedroom, like which bedroom would you have? And so then you pointed out that this is actually a place that you could visit. So this is called the X4 Utopia Starship Cruiser, and it's actually hidden away in the Bella Vita Resort townhomes in Kissimmee, Florida. So it's pretty close to, some of the other resorts and whatnot down there. And this is a completely Star Wars themed villa, and it can host 11 people, 4 bedrooms, 8 beds, and 3 bathrooms. And so it's, if you go to their Instagram and or their Airbnb page, which both of those will be in our show notes, you can check out everything. But it's pretty incredible to see the work that's been done in this. There are different bedrooms. So there's a Naboo bedroom. I was in love with the Tatooine bedroom. I mean, big surprise. I also love the Mandalore bedroom too, because I appreciated the complementary color scheme of the purple and yellow in that one. And there's so many different plaques and things on the wall. And then there's an Endor bedroom as well. And that one I feel like is definitely for the kids because it's got some bunk bed type things in there. So a lot of fun there. But there's game room. I mean, even down to the bathrooms, which they have little placards on them. Everything's in Aurebesh. So it says things like public refresher. And then for the pool, it has a climate controlled, and it's supposed to be inspired by Batu, for example. And so there's so many little details to this, and just this huge game room. There's an exercise room. Again, there's a pool. So many different details that have gone into this, and it looks a lot of fun, even down to a vertical type of aquarium with a rock wart, I think is what it is one of the warts from Star Wars. And there's some hidden Tuca cats here and there. Yeah, even the clocks on the wall are all Star Wars themed and everything. So if you are interested in going to this destination, I looked up a few of the rates for different types of dates, and depending on when you want to go, there could be anywhere from a 2 to 4 night minimum, depending on when you want to go. So I checked out the end of September on a weekend. For 2 nights is $756. If you go in mid-October on a weekday, 2 nights will run you $630. And if you go in mid-January, which is a 4-night minimum during the week, it is $1,430. So again, depending upon how many people you've got going, it's not really that bad of a deal. And what a fun, immersive experience.
Yeah, for the ability to sleep 11 people, that's not a bad rate at all because
Right.
you're otherwise talking about 3 hotel rooms at the very least for that, if not 4. And so when you think of it that way, this is I've seen 4 nights at other resorts for $4,000, potentially $1,000 a night. So when you're paying $300 a night, that's not unheard of for this. And Kissimmee's not all that far away from Walt Disney World and Universal Studios theme parks and stuff. So that could potentially be a fun way to spend a long weekend. Now, if you're going to go to those theme parks, maybe you don't go here because I think you'd really want to enjoy the accommodations, the way that they're themed here. But it's quite an impressive way of doing a Star Wars themed Airbnb. You've got some rooms that are verging on the overtop theming, which is great, but then some of the bedrooms are much more subtle and quite
Mm-hmm.
luxurious looking. So yeah, it's a fun finding. I was joking with you the other day. I think my Instagram ads are actually looking for you these days. I get more stuff that with various Star Wars fashion and stuff, and then this, and I was like, I think you meant Jay, but yeah. At any rate,
Well, we're often one and the same when it comes to stuff like this. So it's all interchangeable, that's for sure. But thanks for the suggestion. So that was absolutely perfect. So yeah, so check that out. And if anybody does happen to hit up any of these locations and destinations, please let us know because we would love to know if anyone actually does any of these things. Because wow, how fun is this?
Mhm.
All right. So that'll wrap it up for us for this month. Thank you all for joining us for episode 913 of Podcast Stardust and this episode of World Between Worlds. And we hope that you've enjoyed this episode. And if so, make sure to subscribe to Podcast Stardust on all of your podcatchers or your podcatcher of choice. And I'd also like to remind you that you can find all episodes of the podcast on retrozap.com. And Retrozap is also home to several other great podcasts, including Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Case Files, Animanicast, Brews and Blasters, Dork Lair, Dunecast, Enjoy Stuff, Love, Death, and Robots Plus, Superhero Suite, and Warp Trails. And as always, we greatly appreciate a 5-star rating and reviews on whatever podcatcher you use, and especially on Apple Podcasts. Those tend to drive us up those algorithms a little bit more. And we'd love it if you would share the show and your favorite episodes on social media as well. Hopefully this was one of them. And speaking of which, Dennis, can you remind everybody what those social media contacts are one more time?
Yeah, the social media contacts. Again, we can be found on Facebook and Instagram at Podcast Stardust. We have a Pinterest page that Jay maintains for us. The shows are available in video and podcast format on YouTube, but you're getting the same show regardless. There's no actual video. And then you can find our merch on TeePublic. So if you're looking for a t-shirt, some stickers, or something along those lines, head over there. The link will be in our bio. Jay, you want to go ahead and remind everybody what it is that you got going on in cosplay right now?
Sure. So speaking of cosplay, you can catch me on my Instagram, which is at j.snipscosplay. Always there as Ahsoka, the fourth sister, 2 different versions of Hera, my original concept Mandalorian, as I was just mentioning earlier, based on Tahiri Vela from Legends, and much, much more. So I'll be amping things up here, getting closer to fall. A little quiet right now, and that's okay. So, with that, just letting you know what's coming up on the show. So, Friday news, if we have any, we'll have to see how things pan out, and waiting for, San Diego Comic-Con as well, as we said. We'll see what comes out of that. And then on Monday, we will be continuing the Clone Wars rewatch. And I have to throw in there that it was just announced that the big 3 of Clone Wars will be at GalaxyCon Columbus in December. So Ashley Eckstein, Matt Lanter, and James Arnold Taylor will all be there. Now I just need Kat Taylor to be there because I haven't met her yet. And then on Wednesday, we will have another edition of our Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary segment breakdown discussion with some special guests. So you definitely don't want to miss that. With that, just want to say thanks for listening, everyone. Have a great rest of your week. And until next time, may the force of Star Wars fashion and lifestyle be with you.